Hello my friends, and welcome to my humble channel. This video is a highlight video of some cuts I had done about a month or two ago, and is also going to serve as kind of a review of some new swords that I got. The sword that I'm using here is from Sterling Armory. It is his version of the Model 18C from the Oakshot typology, and first reactions for the sword is I flippin' love it. It's nimble, it's light, it's very sharp. He did a really good job with putting out a very simple, elegant weapon that I really feel like I could use in battle to defend myself and do everything that I want to do, and not get tired with it. Before I go a little bit more in depth into the sword, a few things to know first is that, number one, I'm still very much a novice at cutting. I'm practicing it, and I'm getting a little bit better at it, but again, still very much a novice and still trying to figure things out with cutting in general. The second thing is that the cutting stand there is something that I made, and I had this really good idea of, let's put a dowel rod in the middle of this cutting stand, and I'll just keep cutting it to make it sharp in order to hold tatami. But the dowel rod is very, very thick. It's about a 1-inch dowel rod, and I think I should probably reduce that diameter a little bit lower. But if you use it and it gets dull, and then you sharpen it again, the length shortens and shortens and shortens. So in this video, this particular day that I had been practicing cutting, it's very short and it's very thick, and so it doesn't really do a very good job of holding the tatami in place, and that's something that I'll have to fix a little bit later on. Probably move to a little bit smaller diameter dowel rod, and then keep it a little bit longer so it can hold the tatami on there better. So a lot of these strikes, and you can see when I do some Unterhaus, it just kind of flies off the stand. And that's one of the reasons why it was a little bit frustrating for me that day. Alright, so about this weapon. Like I said before, it feels very good to use and to handle. Just to give you a side-by-side, if you're familiar with the Albion principe, my roommate has one, and he has been kind enough to let me use it kind of a lot to practice cutting. Just as a side-by-side, the principe feels heavier than the 18C from Sterling Armory. I know it has a bit of a narrower edge profile than the 18C that I got from Sterling Armory has, and then it has a point of balance that's a little bit further out on the blade than the 18C from Sterling Armory. And all of these things really attribute it to be a really good cutter. Again, if you have more weight in the blade, it helps pull the blade through the cut. Again, narrower edge profile, less resistance, very, very sharp. All of these things allow it to be a very good cutter. Now on the flip side of that, being a good cutter is not the be-all end-all for what people probably would have wanted for martiality. So this 18C, it is lighter, the point of balance is a little bit closer to the crossguard, and the edge profile is a little bit buffer, closer towards where the actual edge is. And that's to help protect against rolling nicks and stuff like that. So even though the Albion Principe, I've never actually not gotten through a roll of tatami with it, because it's a really good cutter, and like I said, I am a novice, and if a novice can get through a roll of tatami every time with that, that's a really good cutter. The 18C does not do that. However, I feel a lot more confident using the 18C if I ever had to go onto the battlefield than I would with the Albion Principe. Because like I said before, it's lighter, it's more nimble, it is more robust. I feel like I can defend myself very well with it, as opposed to the Principe, where I feel like I would get tired. I feel like it would be more sluggish, and I wouldn't be as confident in my abilities with that, just in general, for martial prowess, than I would with this 18C. And then doing a review of this video and my thoughts on it in the past is this weapon is actually better for novices and intermediate um, cutting, because it actually does give more feedback than the Principe for how your structure is, how your alignment is, and etc. And I feel like I've learned more trying to use this sword than I probably would have from the Principe. Um, I've learned where exactly I need to work on edge alignment and structure for the different strikes, and I feel like I would suggest this blade over the Principe for beginners and maybe intermediate people, so that they can learn their structure better than uh, otherwise with the Principe. The Principe makes you feel good, but this one is the one that you work on, and that's it. Have a good day, everyone.